This is what the past few weeks, the entire summer so far, has been building towards. This has the potential to really pull the rug right out from under us, an explosive energy, a powerful, turbulent period. And we're going to see people making really impulsive, really wild changes. Hi everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another weekly forecast. And this one is from Monday, June 28th, all the way through to Sunday, July 4th of 2021. And this week we have an explosive energy, a powerful, turbulent period, one of the most powerful periods in the astrology of the entire year in 2021. This is what the past few weeks, the entire summer so far, has been building toward. We have an exact T-square between Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. This is going to bring a lot of upheaval. This is going to bring rapid change, a lot of impulsive decisions. This has the potential to really pull the rug right out from under us when it comes to things that we've been building and working toward for quite some time that maybe are not the right things for us. Maybe we thought that we were creating a really solid foundation for our future. Maybe we thought that we were building a home, but really we were building ourselves a cage. This week is going to make that so apparent, and anything and everything that is holding us back, bogging us down, restraining us from creating the life that we want to create, making the change that we need to make, we're going to have to break free. It's going to cause a source of major frustration for us for this next week, for this next month, and it's something that we really have to let go of before the end of this year. And these are going to be like flashing red alert, in our face types of experiences, types of feelings, types of sensations that will lead us and guide us toward what it is that we need to be changing this week. And so before we get into that, I just want to mention, for those of you who are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I release a new weekly forecast every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and you don't want to miss an important astrology update, especially this summer with the crazy astrology we've been having. And even if you're not new to my channel, the way that I structure my videos is I always start with a 5 to 10 minute general forecast. Don't skip this because it provides an important context for the energy we'll be getting more in detail with in your forecast for all 12 signs. Speaking of which, when I do get into the forecast for all 12 signs, make sure you listen to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign to get a more holistic overview of the energy for the week ahead. Finally, at the end of each video, I do a 2 to 3 minute overview of next week's energy, so stick around to the end if you're interested in that. And so getting back into the general forecast, this is something that we've been building towards. So you've been feeling this. There's been an area of your life that's been a source of extra strain, extra stress, extra anxiety, extra frustration, and it's reaching this peak. It's reaching this boiling point where Mars is coming in and forming a T-square. Mars rules action. Mars rules willpower. Mars rules initiation. Mars is going to give us that energy that we need to push us and propel us forward into making a change that maybe we've been procrastinating on making, or maybe we've been feeling or experiencing a lot of blockages around. And so this is the week where we reach that pivotal point, and we're going to see people making really impulsive, really wild changes left and right all over the place. And some of those changes will lead to good things. But like I've been saying this entire time, if this is something that hasn't been building, if it hasn't come up before, if it's brand new and you've never thought about it, you've never dealt with it, especially throughout the course of this year, and all of a sudden you're feeling this like intense frustration, you're like, I'm just going to stop doing this, I'm just going to change it, and you've never felt this urge, you've never had these thoughts before, you might create a little bit of a mess for yourself. And so this is a really great energy if you've been procrastinating or holding back or holding on for dear life to your comfort zones because you don't want to feel the discomfort that comes with breaking free from the old paradigms, or breaking free from that relationship, or breaking free from that situation in your life. If that's the case and you're just, you've been avoiding discomfort and trying to trudge through and dredge along and keep things going, and it just hasn't been going smoothly, and it becomes very clear that you need to make that change, this is the week to do it. This is the week to make big crazy changes if they need to happen. On the opposite side of the spectrum, if you've been avoiding making changes that kind of need to happen and you don't take action, if you don't start to make some progress, if you don't use this sort of volcano energy of like an explosion of, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated, in a good, positive way to facilitate and catalyze the change that you need to change and the moment that you need to make and the momentum that you need to take hold of, then the universe is going to come in, you guys. Uranus always brings you the awakening, the change, the disruption, the discomfort that you need in the moment in order to progress to the next level, in order to break free from any constraints and confinements that are preventing you from having what it is that you need to have, from making the changes that you need to make, from experiencing the freedom on all levels that you need to be experiencing. And so you can expect to, you can expect the unexpected. That's what everyone always says about Uranus. And unfortunately, it's true. I know it's kind of like cliche, it's like an astrological cliche, right? Expect the unexpected with Uranus. Like, what does that mean, right? But it usually does come about in the way that you least expect. Like you can evaluate the themes, you can evaluate the major energies, you can know which topics, which areas of life might be impacted, but the ways in which they'll be impacted or the ways that these changes come about, it's always a little weird. It's always a little off kilter. It's a little outside of the box, and it's usually the last thing we would have guessed. And so we'll be seeing a lot of that this week, although that Saturn energy does bring in some convention that helps to make it so it's, maybe. Although with that Mars energy, I do think it's going to be quite wild. I think we're going to be having a roller coaster ride this week for a lot of people, and things are just about to get so uncomfortable. And so you have to be okay with, sitting within that discomfort, moving through that discomfort in order to break free. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is going to show us where the structures we've been building throughout this entire year, or maybe throughout our entire lives, are not serving us anymore, where they're providing more burden than freedom, where they're providing more responsibility and restraint than actual benefits in our lives. And so that's going to be a big point of evaluation. And those things that are causing too much stress and too much strain, those things that are confining us and that are preventing us from actually moving forward with the changes we need to make, that's going to become abundantly clear. And so that's the big energy this week. It's what we've been building toward, and that's what we're going to be discussing in today's forecast for all 12 signs. And just so you guys kind of have the dates here, this is really active all week long. So the dates don't actually like fully matter, but July 1st, we have Mars opposing Saturn, right? And so we're forming a fixed T-square here between Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. So Saturn and Uranus have been squaring off for quite some time and creating this energy of like pushing up against a wall and having unexpected hurdles come up that derail your plans and cause you to have to pivot, move left, move right, move backwards before you can get back on track. This Mars energy is coming in and opposing Saturn, which is kind of this even more so pushing up against the wall. It's like you want to get some momentum going, but there's still some frustration that's preventing you from fully locking into that path, or some blockages or something that's coming in to say no. And then we have Mars actually squaring Uranus at the same time, and that's coming exact on Saturday on July 3rd. And so this entire weekend into next week, it's super, super volatile. The energy is ripe for all sorts of societal chaos, all sorts of individual chaos, but it will bring you the change that you need. And so that's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel here. It's going to feel uncomfortable in the moment for a lot of people, especially because it's a fixed T-square. Fixed signs want to keep things the exact same way they already are. And so, with Mars in Leo can actually be quite nostalgic. It could be actually a push to want to go back to an earlier time where things were better, your glory days, that type of thing. That might actually be a thing for some people, especially if you have a lot of Leo energy already. But that Saturn energy in Aquarius, that's us holding on to rigid, dogmatic beliefs, ideas, mental states, that these narratives maybe have been played out and they're not correct anymore for us. And so that's where we're going to have to make that change there. And then when it comes to Uranus and Taurus, there's very physical, tangible, material change that needs to be made this week. And so that's really what we're going to be dealing with. And so that's what we're going to talk about in the forecast for all 12 signs. But before we do, I just want to make a quick announcement. For those of you who aren't already aware, I have a free Astrology 101 quick reference guide available for you to download now down in the description below. It's completely free. My gift to you. It covers the planetary glyphs, signs, houses, aspects, the exaltation and fall states of the planets. It covers the big three. It even shows you how to generate your birth chart for free using free software if that's something that you don't know how to do already. So you can get the most out of my weekly forecasts, my tutorial videos here on YouTube, and everything else that I put out for you guys to learn from. And so that is down in the description below. And right now we're also just kind of preparing for a relaunch of the Cosmic Community. I know a lot of you have been wanting to get in on the live exclusive webinars we do, the live community new moon gatherings each month, the Q&As, and to access a lot of the new content because we've been providing a lot of really high level or high quality educational materials on there. And so the relaunch is coming in August, so stay tuned for that. And I just want to let you know that it is happening soon. And so let's get back into our forecast here, and let's start with, of course, Aries and Aries Rising. And so for Aries and for Aries Rising, got to get my little glyphs up for you guys, and you'll have a key to the astrological glyphs from that Astrology 101 guide, because sometimes people are like, can you put the words? Well, I could, but you could also learn the glyphs. Okay, so for Aries and for Aries Rising, so for you guys, you're going to have some turbulence going on. So for Aries, it's not quite as difficult as it is for some of the other zodiac signs, although there could be some financial disruptions, some financial hurdles, some unexpected financial developments that come up this week that throw you for a loop. It could also be that you're just finally fed up with your financial situation and you're like, all right, I'm done. I need to, do something that's much more independent, that provides more freedom, that aligns better with my passions in order to create and generate more revenue, to generate more resources. So this could be just you looking to branch out and do something that creates more freedom, maybe start a business or a side hustle or something like that, and you're reaching your breaking point and you're like, I'm just going to do this now. This could also just be like an unexpected expense that comes up. There could also be arguments and disputes and conflicts that come up within your social circle this week. Just know that if those do come up, the end result is going to be you kind of airing your grievances and then strengthening your relationship as a result of that. And so just know if you have any relationship hurdles with your friendships, especially, that, those things are not going to provide necessarily the worst possible results. I think that that's actually going to help to strengthen your connection, and it's going to help you to have much more solid friendships and, social networks and social support moving forward. Okay, so for Taurus and for Taurus Rising, this is hitting you particularly hard. And so for Taurus Rising people in particular, and all of the fixed signs, you're having this just really angled at you. Uranus is at the apex of this T-square between Saturn, Mars, and Uranus. And this is happening in your angular houses, which is really shaking up and rattling the entire foundations of your life, of your existence, of your experience. There could be turbulence in the home environment. There could be arguments and disputes and an unsettled energy within the home or within your family dynamic. There could be a lot of frustration with your work and with your career path, and maybe feeling like you're stalling out and you need to change something. On a personal level, you're feeling like you need to make a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs this week, but you will make some changes, or the universe is going to come in and sort of provide that opportunity in a way that might feel uncomfortable in the moment, but it's something that you need, right? You're breaking free from all of your old conditioning. You're letting go of who you once were and who everybody's told you that you should be, and you're becoming more of who you actually are. And that's a big deal and a big transition. This could also impact your family relationships, you kind of doing things that are more rebellious, that are different from the norm for you. This could impact your career choices. This could also impact your romantic partnerships or your close personal friendships, because they're like, Taurus, what the heck? I thought you were this way and all of a sudden you're showing up in another way. And that feels uncomfortable for people. So just know that there is that energy coming up, but you do need to change something. You need to break out of the boring, mundane, routine experiences that you've been kind of drudging through in a lot of areas of life right now. Definitely with your work, you need to kind of stick it out and make those changes more gradually if you can. But there could be a moment this week where you reach your boiling point and you're like, all right, I'm changing everything. I'm leaving my job, I'm starting fresh, or I'm leaving my home and I'm starting fresh. Something along those lines could happen for certain Taurus rising people. For Gemini and for Gemini rising. So for Geminis, this energy is happening actually a little bit nicer for you. So this is happening in your third, your ninth, and in your 12th house. And so this is kind of a mixed bag of energy for you. I would say that on a mental level, you could feel more anxious, more restless. There could be an energy that's urging you to engage in a new sort of educational type of pursuit, to change your mindset around something really rapidly. This could actually be a shock to your mental paradigms this week, where you thought that you were holding on to a belief system or an ideology that was true and that was like scientifically accurate, maybe, or something like that. And then new information comes in and it's like, and your paradigm is just busted. So that could be kind of an unsettled energy for Geminis. And I think a lot of Geminis might experience that. You could also have unexpected hurdles or obstacles or things that you have to deal with involving short distance travel, long distance travel, or vehicles. There could be disruption within your community that you're dealing with as well. I will say, though, that for Geminis, whatever it is that's going on, especially on that mental level or what comes up involving travel plans, what comes up in your community, even if it feels uncomfortable in the moment, long term, this is going to help you to become much more grounded in your integrity. And this is also going to improve your communications in relationships with other people by making it much more direct, much more straightforward. And so I do like this in a lot of ways for Gemini. For Cancer and for Cancer rising. So for Cancer, this energy is happening in your second, in your eighth, and in your 11th house. So for Cancers, there's potential for financial and social disruption this week. I would say that something might come along, out of the blue unexpectedly when it comes to your material possessions or your finances in general. And you're going to have to deal with it. It's going to cause you to have to change something, to pivot, to deal with it in some way. Like you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to make some sort of change to your budget, to your plans, or to the way that you're generating resources. This could also be an unexpected hurdle that brings obstacles and hardships involving your partner's resources, joint finances, something along those lines. But the end result from this is showing you where you have cracks in your foundation and where things were unstable to begin with. So it's going to show you where you need to have a much more solid plan, where you need to have, much better a much better relationship with your resources, or where you need to be creating, generating, or saving your resources in a different way or investing them in a different way. This could also bring kind of disruption or unexpected energies that come up involving your friendships, your social networks, people that you surround yourself with by choice, where there could be an unexpected argument or dispute that causes you to change something, end a relationship, or begin, there could be an unexpected new friendship that comes in. I would say that this is not a good week for borrowing or lending money to friends. So just kind of keep that in mind. But otherwise, you're going to have some changes, but those changes are showing you, again, where things were already weak when it comes to your foundations, or where the foundations you created were too strict and too stringent, and you need to change something. For Leo and for Leo rising, this is another fixed sign. And so for Leos with this fixed T-square going on in your chart, this is going to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more turbulent. But again, this is breaking you free from what you need to break free from. And so for you, this is especially hitting you personally. I would say for Leos, don't rush around, don't overdo it on a physical level. Make sure that you're taking it easy. You're probably going to feel much more anxious, much more unsettled. There's a lot of energy kind of coursing through your body right now. And, people who are already prone to being a little bit more a little bit more over the top when it comes to your drive and your ambitions will be more likely to burn out, and people who are more prone already to anxiety will be feeling more anxious. That doesn't mean that, something bad is necessarily happening if you are having those feelings. It's just there's a lot of energy and it's very unsettled and you need to do something with it. So I would say, this is a good week to think about making the changes that you need to make. You do need to break free from something. It could be a relationship that's bogging you down and preventing you from making the changes and having the freedom that you really are seeking in your career or in your home life or on a personal level. It could be that a new relationship comes in and that's the thing that's disruptive, and that helps you to change something involving your career or involving your personal will, your personal volition, your personal appearance, even. And so those things could all, be a part of this energy where there's disruption on all levels. So you're changing things when it comes to your home, your family, your property. You're changing things on a personal level. You're definitely seeking more freedom when it comes to your career and some newness and some excitement there. And the relationship area, like there's a push and pull between wanting to commit and wanting to just get out and have all the freedom in the entire universe. And so that's something that might be coming up for you a little bit more so this week. For Virgos and for Virgo rising. So for Virgos, this T square, it's hitting you slightly, I would say slightly better than some of the other signs, just because Uranus is going to be trining your ascendant sun or moon. And so that brings in some positive change, or at least the discomfort and the disruptive energy that you're going to be dealing with this week. It impacts you on a personal level very positively, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. And so it causes you to take on a new path, a new identity, to move forward with something in a very different way. And that's going to feel really liberating. That's going to feel really exciting for you this week. So that Saturn Mars opposition, though it's happening in your 6th and 9th house, take care of our 6th and 12th house. So take care of your health this week. Take it easy as much as you can. I know that there's going to be a lot of energy and you're going to be feeling like you have to do a lot and that there's a lot of on your plate on a day-to-day level, on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're somebody who is involved in higher education or if you have travel plans this week. That could put a little extra stress or strain on you. So you just want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out on a physical level with everything that you're trying to get done every single day. So that would be my biggest thing for Virgo. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. And you just have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, even though it feels like there's a million different things to do and it's kind of like chaos all over the place. And you'll get through this, and the changes that do come up for you this week, which could involve health, it could involve your work, it could involve your ideologies or your education, it could involve travel plans, all of those things. Anything that comes up for you this week, it is going to benefit you and it's going to liberate you as the end result. So for Libra and for Libra rising. So for Libras, this energy is happening in your, let's see here. For Libras, this is a little bit nicer. So you have the Saturn Mars opposition that's occurring in your 11th and your 5th house. This could be, partially a new friendship coming in, a new social connection or a new group connection, becoming a part of some sort of social circle or club or group or something along those lines, or taking on a leadership role in one of those realms. That could be something that could be very positive that could come out of this. I would say that if you're a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees, and you are in relationship, this could really amp up the passions in your relationship, because Mars, especially if you're a Libra rising, will be trining your descendant, which, brings a little fire back into things. It spices things up. The area where there will be potential for turbulence is in the area of investments, joint financial ventures, the area of marriage, joint finances through marriage, the area of taxes, debt, inheritance, all of those other things, insurance payouts. That's where there's something unexpected potentially coming this week. And so just expect the unexpected when it comes to that area of your finances. This could also be that something that goes on with a friendship or a romantic partnership triggers some anxiety or some, trauma or some, fear that came from a past experience, that came from an unresolved psychological issue that stems from something in the past. There could also be power and control issues in romantic partnership, involving your friendships, or there could be power struggles or unexpected kind of energies there involving debt, or, what's that called? Child support or something along those lines. That's sometimes something that I see when we have squares between the fifth and the eighth house, especially for women who are divorced and have children. So that could be something that comes up for you this week too, for a very specific subset of people, right? um, but just know that whatever it is that's coming up is showing you the cracks in your foundation. It's showing you where you need to change something, on all of these levels and in all of these areas of your life. And so, yes, it might be just like uncomfortable this week, but the end result will be liberation. So for Scorpio and for Scorpio rising. So for Scorpios, this is hitting you hard as well, especially if you are a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees. I happen to fall into that category. So I'll be interested to see what happens. So this is an energy where a lot of change is going on. There is some sort of burden, limitation, restriction that you're trying to free yourself from when it comes to your home, your family, your property. There are a lot of changes going on in your most important relationships. There's this sense of urgency to move forward, to start something new, to get something done when it comes to your career and your public reputation. And you yourself are changing the way that you engage with the world and everything that it is that you're doing out in the world. You're making some massive changes. Your identity is going through a massive shift and a change that could be quite heavy and quite turbulent all at the same time as well. And so you're dealing with a new role. You're dealing with becoming a new person. You're dealing with shattering all of the old conditioning around who you thought you were or who people told you that you were. And there's big changes coming for those of you who are in a marriage partnership or long-term relationship to that relationship. That doesn't mean it's something bad. I think the end result of this is greater stability and greater freedom in your partnership, between the two of you moving forward. But definitely it's disruptive. So the changes that are going on, I would say, in your relationships or new relationships that are coming in for those who are single, are going to cause disruption and friction in your home life and also in your career life. And so that's something to just kind of be aware of this week. Just know that this is showing you where you need to make changes, where you need to make adjustments in your relationships, or where your partner needs to make adjustments. This is showing you where you need to restructure your home life, or where you need to create better boundaries in the home. And this is showing you where, yes, changes need to happen when it comes to your career and what those changes look like. The frustrations that come up are going to cause you to have to shift something this week. And these are things that are probably a long time coming that you probably swept under the rug or didn't want to deal with because it's uncomfortable. So this will help you to see those things and to address it head on. So for Sagittarius and for Sagittarius rising. So for Sagittarius, this is not quite as heavy as it is for some of the other signs. I like that Mars and Saturn are in your third and ninth house. There could be some pressure around higher educational pursuits or around education in general. Maybe you're thinking about changing your career path or shifting something with your work, and you need to either change something with your commute. You need to travel somewhere in order to make that change, or maybe even move or something like that. Or you're thinking that you need to take on the burden of additional education. If this is something that you just decided in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to go back to school right now. And I've never thought about this before, but if I want to get out of this job that I'm like feeling frustrated with and I need to be liberated from, then I just need to do this right this second. That's maybe going to cause problems that are going to take a long time to resolve. But if it's something that's been a long time coming, if you're like, wow, I've really been needing to get some additional education in this area so I can finally start to really hone in on those adjustments I need to make in my career, or break free or liberate myself from the day-to-day mundane tasks in my work, or, find a new career path in general, then this is a great energy for that. And so and there's going to be some friction and some disputes and some intensity around your work in general this week. You're going to feel very busy, very frazzled, and very all over the place. So take it easy as much as you can in that area. Don't allow yourself to burn out. This is an energy where burnout is likely if you're doing too much every single day, and that could impact your health. So you want to be careful there. But beyond that, whatever it is that you're launching into, it's going to align you much more greatly with your integrity, especially when it comes to travel plans, especially when it comes to educational pursuits. It could also even be that you want to launch into teaching or doing something along those lines yourself, or writing, publishing, sharing information. Blogging, whatever it is. And this could bring that stimulation, that final straw that launches you into doing that, right? To sharing what you need to share out there in the world. For Capricorn and for Capricorn rising. So for Capricorns, this energy is happening in your second, your eighth, and in your fifth houses. And so there's some financial stuff going on for you this week. There's like a big impulse to change something involving your financial situation, either to make an investment, to take out a loan. It could even be that you have money coming in unexpectedly, like you have an inheritance that comes in, or you have an insurance payout, and that it comes in very suddenly, and maybe that helps to break you free from some of the burdens that you've been experiencing, or the frustrations or fears that you've been experiencing around your financial situation. This is also a week where if you have any cracks in your financial plans, if you have any cracks in your budget, if you have any cracks in your ability to generate resources in the way that you need to set yourself up for success for the next 30 years of your life, this is a week where it could become very, very apparent. Or if there are investments that you made that are maybe unstable or something like that, this is a week where that could become very apparent. And so just kind of be aware, whatever comes up, it doesn't mean you have to change it right this second, especially if it's brand new and you've never had these thoughts or experiences before. But it's showing you something. It's showing you where you need some change. You need to pivot. The good thing though is that, especially for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, anywhere from not zero, 10 to 15 degrees, whatever it is that you're kind of changing and shifting on a financial level, it's going to cause a sense of liberation when it comes to your passions, your ability to experience joy. It could be that you finally just like lock in on a loan, and you get some sort of payout or something, and it's like, I feel free, right? And so you might overindulge in that freedom a little bit. You might do things that you wouldn't normally do when it comes to experiencing your joy and doing new and exciting things, engaging with hobbies, interests, passion pursuits. This could also be a really good week to do fun and exciting and new things involving your children. And so that could be a part of this too. Or there could be an expense that comes up unexpectedly involving children. That could be another thing. But that expense could be something that could end up being really fun for you. So, and fun for your child. So all of these things are a potential for Capricorns this week. For Aquarius and for Aquarius rising, this is the final fixed sign in the zodiac. And so you guys, of course, are being hit particularly hard by this T-square. And that's okay. Don't worry. You've been experiencing this all year. This is just a little moment of amplification. So it's not going to bring anything necessarily that you aren't prepared for, or that you shouldn't be prepared for already. But it will potentially bring some additional disagreements, arguments, disputes, or a catalyzing energy that comes through your relationships that causes you to break free, to break the mold, to become more of who you are, and to let go of rigid dogmatic belief systems, to let go of a rigid adherence to your old identity, especially when it comes to your intellectual identity. Like, this is a time where you're shedding your old skin and you're becoming a lot more of who you are. There could also be a catalyst coming through your relationships that causes you to change something involving your home environment, your property, your family relationships, your family dynamic. This could also be an unexpected new addition to the home that could come in through a partnership. And so that's something that could be, I would even say that some of you, this is a very specific scenario, just as a little disclaimer here. I would say some of you might end up feeling burdened by your partner bringing home like a pet or a stray animal, or some sort of, literally a new addition to the home in that regard, or maybe wanting to invite people over to the home unexpectedly, and it causes disruption and it causes this unsettled energy that kind of has to bring you out of your comfort zones. And that could be something that some people are dealing with, or like an unexpected guest. But this could also be a time where you decide that it's time, we need to make that move. We need to change our location. We need to renovate our home. We need to rip down those walls, whatever it is that is applicable to you. And there could be also career changes coming up this week as well. Whatever it is that's coming up, it's going to feel very likely uncomfortable and frustrating in the moment. But the end result, again, is liberation. It's liberating you from any burdens, any restrictions, anything that you've built for yourself that's more of a cage than an actual foundation for a home. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens for a lot of Aquarius people. And then for Pisces and for Pisces rising. So for Pisces, this is not quite as challenging just because you do have Uranus, which will be making a sextile to your ascendant sun or moon, especially if you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees, you'll be feeling a little bit more of the positivity here. However, this is a week where you are going to be prone to burnout. You could have really weird communications coming in this week, very unexpectedly, out of the blue. Like, where did this even come from? From especially coworkers or employees or work-related communications in general, or communications around healthcare or the healthcare system, if that's applicable to you, where it's like, what the heck even is this? And that could be like a very big shocking revelation or a shocking message or shocking information that comes to you. There could also be an unexpected need to travel for work or an unexpected disruption to your commute to work, and that could be a source of frustration this week. I would say that this is a week where you're going to be feeling very busy. You're going to have a lot to do on a day-to-day basis, and that's going to potentially be a little overwhelming. So you want to make sure that you're taking time out to rest, to spend time in solitude and seclusion, to decompress, and to take care of your health. Make sure that you're moving your body every single day with Mars transiting your sixth house. And make sure that just make sure that you're getting activity, because that's going to discharge some of this energy, which can help with the potential for burnout. But I would say that this is another sign where burnout is likely if you're overdoing it. So plan lightly. Don't add extra stuff to your plate this week. If you can cancel some appointments, great, do it. Even if you can't, don't schedule extras. Definitely don't schedule extras. And give yourself a little breathing room and a little space. You might have unexpected things that come up and take your time throughout your day-to-day activities. It could be unexpected work stuff that comes up, and you're going to want to be able to make space for that, in addition to making space to take care of yourself, right? That's the biggest thing. Stay calm, pace yourself. Don't rush through everything that you need to do each day, and just make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself. And so that's the energy for Pisces and for Pisces rising. All right, and so let's get into next week's forecast or next week's overview. And so this is actually for July 5th through July 11th. And so we're going to actually next week start to come out of this energy a little bit. We'll still be feeling it at the start of this week, and I think we're still in kind of a dicey zone, at least until the following week. But there's a new moon in Cancer, and so we're officially out of eclipse season, so that helps us quite a bit. And after the start of the week, when we have the Mars or the Mercury square to Neptune for the final time, we're out of this sort of nebulous zone of confusion that's also going on with all of this. So if you guys have been watching my forecast, you know that there is some difficult mercurial energy, and you know that it's not a time of great clarity. And so we'll be shifting out of that area of confusion, that area of ambivalence, that area of just not knowing what the heck is going on. And we'll be moving into an area or a time of greater clarity in the next couple of weeks after this last past next week. And then that new moon in Cancer, like I said before, this is a big reset after the eclipse season. And so after that period, we actually move into a much nicer energy that will really take hold, through August, September, even maybe a little bit into October. And so we have this little grace period here. So as I mentioned at the start of this year, before the start of this year, many times, that for this year, the most turbulent energy was occurring in January and February, June and July, and then November and December. So everything in between those periods, even though it's not perfect, we still have craziness going on in the astrology. We still have stuff that's carried over from last year too, which we know was a mess. And so we still have that. We're still in this zone of discomfort as a society and sometimes individually. But it's in the big picture story of this entire year, we're going to look back and say January and February, that was a mess. June and July, that was also kind of crazy. November, December, that was kind of crazy. But the middle zones, that was a little easier than that, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. And so that's my spiel and my forecast for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you share this information with any of your friends if you feel like they can benefit. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.